Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Marjorie Contenti, and it is my pleasure to be here leading the meditation this morning. So please settle in. Welcome to the Calgary Center for Spiritual Living. Make yourself comfortable in whatever you're sitting in or lying on. Just let yourself settle in. Know that nothing outside of my voice, outside of these moments you have allowed yourself, requires your attention. This is a gift you have given yourself to be fully present, to be practicing the incredible art, the practice of meditation. So please just take another nice breath, not forcing the breath, but breathing in fully and releasing fully in your own rhythm. You may want to use a count for a couple of breaths. Breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, holding for a couple of seconds, and then breathing out longer than the breath you took in. I'm just going to show you one. And holding. Drawing attention to the breath is a great way to start a meditation. It brings us into the present moment, right into this space, because we're often busy thinking of the future, what will I do next? Thinking of the past, what have I been doing up until now? So breathing in and breathing out in your own rhythm. You may notice as you do this that your body calms down. You're giving signals to yourself that you're prepared to just be here for a little bit. And you will likely notice your mind also starts to get the message. Breathing in and breathing out. And on your next exhalation, allow yourself to sink even more into whatever is holding you at this moment. The chair, the floor. And know that relaxing into this support is like a metaphor for life. That always, always, we are supported by a power that is beyond our imagining. Breathing in and breathing out. On the next exhalation, be aware of your top of your head and feel this relaxation starting there and flowing down over your face, allowing facial muscles to relax and your jaw to release. And on your next out breath, notice your neck and shoulders. We often hold tension in these big muscles up there. So just allowing your shoulders to drop a little bit and your neck to relax. And again on the out breath, settling even farther down, allowing this relaxation to flow down your arms, the elbows become loose, into your hands which are resting lightly. Just allowing this relaxation to rest your arms and your upper body. So relaxing. On the next out breath, feeling this relaxation flow down from the upper body to the lower abdomen, down to the sitting bones where you're sitting on the floor or the chair, feeling your lower body relax. Breathing in and breathing out. And finally, allowing this feeling of relaxation to flow down the big muscles, the quad muscles in the legs, allowing the knees to become soft, flowing down the calves and shins and into your feet, which are resting lightly. Breathing in and breathing out. And with our bodies relaxed, we invite ourselves to just spend the next few moments listening to the self, not in a concentrated way, but just by the act of slowing down, the act of noting the breathing, we invite awareness of the presence within that is always with us, as close as our next breath. Breathing in and breathing out. In just a moment, I will leave you in silence with just the light music. If you become distracted during the meditation by something around you or by your thoughts, don't resist any of this. Let the sounds or the thoughts just float back out of your awareness and drawing your attention back to your breath. Nothing to think about, nothing to do. Just resting, relaxing, until you hear again the sound of my voice. Breathing in and breathing out. As you begin to bring your awareness back into this room, notice those breaths you have been taking are so easy, so natural. Nothing you really need to think about or worry about. Just accept this breath of life, this life that is in some ways living you. So let us know as we come out of the meditation and move into the rest of our days, into the service, let us know together that there is this one life, this power, this peace. And when we pause for a few moments, we may feel that sense of serenity or this awareness that all is well with the world. And even when we are not aware of it, when we are enmeshed in our busy lives, let's remember that this power is always there. It is infinite. It is all powerful. In every moment, it is a new possibility. So I know for me and for all of us that life is good, life is rich. Life is greater by means of me and my willingness to be awake, to be alive, to be aware that I am the magnificence of spirit expressing itself in my own unique and perfect ways. Breathing in and breathing out. Becoming aware again of your body. Wiggling fingers and toes. Maybe shrug those shoulders. Another nice full breath. And in your own time, opening your eyes, bringing yourself back into this world of form, and bringing with you the peace and the love and the joy that always is yours, here and now and in every moment moving forward. Thank you for joining us for the meditation this morning. Namaste.
Trusting the gift within, trusting the love I know, stuck with sweeter faith. Into the world I go, and in the day we had, let there be time enough to bring the mighty, mighty gift of joy. Move from the gift within, move from the love you know, and step with greater faith into the world you flow. And in the time you have, you will be strong enough, strong enough to bring the mighty, mighty gift of joy. The world is calling me to come alive immediately, to share the good and do my best with all the love and tenderness. And I'm learning how to give to those who need me now. And I know I need them just as much as the flowers need the sun. So trust the gift within, trust in the love you know, and move with greater faith into the world. Just go, and in the days that we have, there will be time enough to bring the mighty, mighty gift of joy. The world is calling me to come alive immediately, to share my good and do my best with all love and tenderness. I'm learning how to give to those who need me now, and I know I need them just as much as the flowers need the sun. So trust the gift within, trust in the love we know, and move with greater faith into the world. Just go, 'cause in the days we have, there will be time enough to bring the mighty, mighty gift of time enough to bring the mighty, mighty gift of time enough to bring the mighty, mighty gift of joy. Let's bring the mighty, mighty gift of joy.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you. Starting us off with beautiful music as usually. I'm Reverend Marjorie Contenti, and it is my great pleasure and privilege to be here presiding over the service today. We have a wonderful guest speaker, Patricia Morgan, who will be joining us today, and I will introduce her more fully in a few minutes. So welcome to all of you who have chosen to be with us this morning. If you regularly attend the center online now, If you're new to us, either way, we're just so happy that you took the time to give this gift to yourself of becoming aware, becoming awake, becoming alive in this community that we have formed of people who are willing to make a difference in the world. So welcome. Please know that we honor all paths. However you have arrived here at this service, at this time, we respect and honor the journey that you have been on. You'll notice on this slide that there are all these symbols of different faith traditions, and every one of them has gifts to offer, and all of us are on our own way of interpreting the world and deciding and determining and choosing what we say life is about and what we are about and how we fit into that. So you'll notice the symbol that is up in the my upper left, the white symbol with the blue V in the middle, the circle and the V. That's a symbol for the Center for Spiritual Living's traditional philosophy. And that is that there is one spirit, one life, and it is descending through our use of this power and into the body of our affairs. Each one of us being this microcosm, this part of the one energy, the one life. So welcome. We're glad you're here today. And if the band could join me, please, in the congregational song, please feel free to leap up from your chair at home and join in.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Gonna climb this mountain, won't stop till I get to the top, one step at a time. No doubt about it, won't stop till I get to the top, one step at a time. Gonna climb this mountain, won't stop till I get to the top, one step at a time. No doubt about it, won't stop till I get to the top, one step at a time. Leave behind what's weighing me down, wash away what's holding me back. My heart is falling, face forward, feet on the ground, living in this courage I've found. The sky is calling, gonna climb this mountain, won't stop till I get to the top, one step at a time. No doubt about it, won't stop till I get to the top, one step at a time. Gonna climb this mountain, won't stop till I get to the top, one step at a time. No doubt about it, won't stop till I get to the top, one step at a time. Leave behind what's weighing me down, wash away what's holding me back. My heart is falling, face forward, feet on the ground, living in this courage I've found. The sky is calling, gonna climb this mountain, won't stop till I get to the top, one step at a time. No doubt about it, won't stop till I get to the top, one step at a time. Gonna climb this mountain, won't stop till I get to the top, one step at a time. 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 One step at a time.
Ooh. I have to tell you, I had a sublime moment a minute ago with the harmonies surrounding me. It was absolutely gorgeous. I love being up here when the band is up here, even though I really am not, I love to sing, but I sing with more enthusiasm probably than skill. So it feeds my inner rock goddess to be up here with the band. So, and I'm always appreciative of the beauty that they bring to us every week. Yeah. So in the spirit of the community that we have here at the Calgary Centre for Spiritual Living, in the desire that we have to reach out to make sure that you feel supported, that no matter how you come to this community on a regular basis, whether you arrive feeling great about life and all ready to rock and roll, or whether sometimes you're here feeling lonely or feeling worried or scared, however you arrive with us, we want you to know that you are supported, that you are loved, and that this universal energy that fuels us all is ever present. And we extend this warmth to you every time. So in the spirit of that, I'd have a few announcements I'd like to make about activities in our community. One of them is that we have a Secret Santa opportunity for you. So we are the backup. So there's a Secret Santa thing that happens here in Calgary where people bring gifts for seniors for Christmas, and we are the backup. So sometimes people make the commitment and they don't always follow through. So we create a repository of wonderful goods and gifts that can be called on at the last minute. So please feel free to drop those off here at the center. You can come in today between 12 and 2. You'll be dropping them off just in the doorway. You won't come right into the center itself. So please observe the protocols. Please wear a mask and watch out for your fellow volunteers who may be bringing things in. Just be aware of the physical distancing. So please feel free to do that. You can do that today between 12 and 2. You can also do it next Sunday between 12 and 4 o'clock. I brought some in this morning, so I brought some really cute pajamas for some senior that's going to be able to snuggle up in them this Christmas. We have an event that happens every Monday night. Ron Hahn, one of our practitioners, a senior senior practitioner, I guess is the word, a layperson in the center, leads a session each Monday night. It's drop-in, it's not sequential, there are no prerequisites, nothing you need to do ahead of time to be here. Please just feel free to join the group if you'd like. Drop in as you like. I guess online you can really be as you like. We're not going to know if you're in your pajamas. There's no fees for this. It's a love offering. And it's an opportunity to just go through readings, to have meaningful discussions, and bring yourself in a deeper way to the teaching. So please feel free to do that. There's a Zoom code there on the screen, and it's also on the website and in the newsletter. Dr. Pat, you know our wonderful Dr. Pat that's usually here on Sundays. She has an energy like no other, and she leads a coffee session on Wednesdays. So please feel free to join her at noon. Again, the code is here, and you can also find it on the website and in the newsletter. And she's having people join her from all over the world, so please feel free to do that. Thursday evenings, the ministers and senior practitioners are leading a meditation. So from 7 o'clock for 45 minutes. The meditation is about 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, and then a few minutes for discussion afterward if you want to stay. But that's optional. So the meditation is brief, and lots of people are really enjoying just coming in for that midweek pick-me-up. So again, newsletter or website. And the Saging Circle. So two of our longtime members, Neil and Sandra Butler, are leading a circle on Saturday mornings of people who are, we call them older, but we were talking this morning about aging, and I think we should be calling it alchemy. And we're going to hear more from our speaker. Our speaker this morning is an example of vibrant aging or alchemy as we extend our years in life. So this weekly group is for seniors, so 60 plus years on the planet, and it's 10 a.m. to noon. I understand it's going very well, and people are really loving being there and sharing wisdom and conversation with one another. Again, you can sign up for this one by email to sandrabutler4726@gmail.com, or there's a phone number on here as well, and you'll find that in the newsletter as well. So, the announcements are done. I hope that you will feel that you are welcomed to do any of these things in our community if you choose. So let's settle in for a moment and move into the more sacred part of our service. So take a breath and let it go. Amy's going to lead us in a chant, and then I'll do a spiritual mind treatment.
If you listen to yourself in the quietude, you may hear the voice of God. If you listen to yourself in the quietude, you might hear the voice of God. If you listen to yourself in the quietude, you might hear the voice of God. If you listen to yourself in the quietude, you might hear the voice of God.
I come to this moment in the full awareness that there is one life, a single power, a creative intelligence that is everywhere present, that is always on the move, that is creating and recreating life in a brand new way, moment by moment, second by second. This energy, this life force is powering me. And I know that this is true for all. That the power of life is the source of my good. It is the source of my energy. It is the source of my contribution as I make the world a better place by means of my very presence. So this power is a power of love. And this love permeates my being. This love fills me up and spills out into the world that I occupy. It shows up in my relationships as compassion. It shows up as love. Not only the love among my family and friends, but a love that expands and extends to all that I am in contact with and all that I hear about, and really to an entire planet that benefits from my willingness to be the love that I wish to see in the world. And I know that this power, this energy shows up as wholeness and completeness. And this translates in my life to perfect health. So I look beyond any possible condition I may be seeing of something that is less than the appearance of health, and I go back to the truth that I am whole, complete, perfect now in every way. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, I am a being of love and light and peace and power. And I know that this universal power shows up as abundance in my life. Everything that I need and want to live a life of joy and meaning is mine now. So I access it, I give thanks for it, and as I give thanks, what I appreciate appreciates. And finally, I know that this creative intelligence is expressing as me. So I am intelligent. I am confident. I speak from a place of understanding that I am so much more than this physical appearance. So I allow my creativity and my intelligence to flow into all of the actions in my life. I bring it to my work. I bring it to my play. And all of this awareness of who I am as a magnificent spiritual being is evident. So knowing that I am the peace, the power, the love, and the energy of Spirit itself, knowing that I am united in this expression with all other beings, I release this word in gratitude for the gift of life as me and as all. Together, let us release these words, knowing they are so as spoken. So let us declare, and so it is.
If you listen to yourself in the quietude, you might hear the voice of God. If you listen to yourself in the quietude, you might hear the voice of God.
Thank you, Amy. Every week, we say our vision and mission statement because we live by this. This truly is a description, an explanation of our community, lovingly crafted. So please join me, if you wish, in reading this. So the vision statement of the Calgary Centre for Spiritual Living is, the Calgary Centre for Spiritual Living is a beacon of spiritual illumination that inspires individuals to reveal their wholeness, co-creating a world that works for everyone. And our mission statement. The Calgary Centre for Spiritual Living makes accessible a way of living and thinking that reveals one's spiritual magnificence and personal power. We co-create an inclusive community that fosters an expansion of consciousness. Notice nowhere do we say we're going to tell you what to think, but we will encourage you to think, and we really do live our talk here. We really are working always on building an inclusive community that welcomes everyone and that makes the world a better place for everyone. It's my pleasure now to bring the band up again. With us today, we have our usual stellar performers, all professional and stunning musicians. So with us, we have Steph Chapman on the keyboards, Luis Tovar on the drums, Lisa Jacobs on the bass, and our wonderful band leader, Oliver Miguel, and our musical director and soloist, Amy Bishop.
So dissatisfied in so many ways, but I'm gonna find a way to celebrate, 'cause today I'm flying on faith, flying on faith, flying on faith. Hey. Picked up my baggage and I threw it out the door, not looking back, because the past is such a bore. Gonna stand stars up in my face, 'cause today Today I'm flying on faith,
Flying on faith,
flying on faith. Well, I picked up my baggage and I threw it out the door. Not looking back, 'cause the past is such a bore. Gonna stand with the moon and the stars up in my face. I'm flying on faith. I'm flying on faith. You can go ahead and tiptoe through your life, digging through the dirt. You can stress on the strife, but I'm gonna make it past the worry and the pain. 'Cause today I'm flying on faith.
Yeah. Hey, hey.
yeah.
Ooh. Thank you. Fantastique. It is my great pleasure to welcome and to introduce to you our guest speaker today. I was driving in this morning, and I was driving on one of our freeways, I guess you'd call them, although in Calgary we're not that big, so on one of the bigger roads. I was on an overpass, and as you're driving around this overpass, if you look off to your right, you can see the mountains. And I actually have difficulty concentrating on that overpass because I really want to look at the mountains and not pay attention to the curve I'm on. But I made it through safely. And this morning, the phenomenon I saw when I looked to the west is what we call a Chinook arch. If you live in Alberta, you know what that's about. But if you don't, a Chinook arch is a warm wind. It comes over the Rocky Mountains, down the foothills, and it pushes the cloud cover up over the city. So it forms this beautiful arch on the horizon of the clear air below and the cloud cover over top. And when I was appreciating this phenomenon and I was thinking about introducing Patricia Morgan, I thought, that's what Patricia's like. Patricia's like a warm breeze of caring and competence, and I know you're going to enjoy her talk this morning. And I'll give you a little bit more formal introduction. Patricia Morgan is often referred to as a spunky seniorpreneur. Her ability to provide bite-sized knowledge nuggets for resilience has helped many people emerge stronger after facing unthinkable challenges. With an MA in clinical psychology, she has authored several books on resilience, stress management, and women's issues. Patricia and her husband Les have been Calgary Centre for Spiritual Living members for over 30 years, and they are much loved and respected members of our community. Patricia has been described as a therapeutic counselor, author, mother to 3, grandmother to 5, and happily married most days, she adds. With spiritual resilience to loneliness, please help me welcome Patricia Morgan.
All right. This is a new clicker for me. Is that going backwards or forwards? Ah, wonderful. Thank you. Only the lonely know the feeling I feel inside. Only the lonely. And you know, if Roy Orbison was alive today, I'd tell him that most of us have moments of feeling lonely. It was in April that I put out a call saying I am available for counseling for 2 sessions if you have some issues you would like to discuss with a caring ear, especially with what happened with COVID-19. So I listened for hours to people. Actually 20 on top of my own clients came forward. I listened about how people felt depressed, were having anxiety attacks, were wondering whether they really wanted to live with the person they had said, yes, I do, for the rest of my life. I listened to how the children were getting under people's hair. I was hearing how people were living alone. I was hearing how people were questioning whether they had a sense of purpose, whether they were going to lose their job, hang on to their job. And I wish I had known back in April and May what I know now. I did not ask a defining question. I wish I had asked, do you feel lonely? So learning how to use this clicker. Some of you may know this gentleman. He's my sweet hubby. And he is in this picture not feeling lonely. He is alone. He's loving it. He is in solitude, and he is loving it. And he is isolated, meaning that if he got into trouble, he would have to use his little emergency gadget. But maybe if he stayed there long enough, 3 weeks, maybe 5 weeks, you might hear him mutter, if you were a fly in the tree, say, oh, I'm feeling lonely for my Patsy. So there's a definition on this slide around loneliness. Loneliness is the discrepancy between what you have and what you want from your relationships. And that was a quotation that I found by the researcher Stephanie, and I'm going to struggle, I think, to say her name, Cachopo. What happened for me was a number of people started asking me to speak on the topic of loneliness. And I thought to myself, I know lots about resilience, I know about how getting back on track, but do I really understand loneliness to the extent that I want to? So I did a deep dive, and this is one of the researchers I found, and I discovered that I had a lot of misconceptions about this topic, as perhaps you do. So let's start with a little bit of history. We didn't talk about loneliness years ago. We didn't talk about it particularly in my family. I don't ever remember hearing somebody saying, I feel lonely. Actually, if anybody even thought of it, and I remember I thought of it as a teenager when I was in the out crowd, oh, I'd be a loser if I said that. If nobody likes you, if you're shunned, if you're different, then that is being a failure. But this was my grandmother's house. Think about the 1950s and the 1960s. And in this house lived my grandmother, my grandfather, my Uncle Bill, who we called Uncle Spunky, a bachelor, my auntie, who had fled a marriage with an alcoholic husband, and her 2 children lived there. And in the summers came dear Aunt Idy to help out with the farm work. And for a couple years, there were 2 great-grandmas propped up in the dining room because there were no hospices back then. And eventually, I gather, those grandmothers died. I remember going to the funeral of one. And then my brothers and I would go there for refuge now and then from our farm, which was about 3 miles away. We'd ride our bikes there if we needed to go somewhere that was a safe place for us. I had a father who survived the Second World War, but he did not survive, in my opinion, post-traumatic stress disorder, night terrors. We would hear screams in the night, and he had a dreadful anger management issue. But at Grandma and Grandpa's, nobody talked about feeling lonely. We were just embraced with love and the chaos. And my grandma used to mutter once in a while about she just would need to go for a little walk for some space for herself. Then something happened in 1962. Paul McCartney came up with Eleanor Rigby where have all the lonely people come from? And I don't have the rhythm just right, but where have all the lonely people come from? He was asking that question in 1962 because he was concerned about some of the elderly people. But that was really the first time that the world heard this whole concept about loneliness. So one of the places that we can make a difference and move out of that talk about right now, you know what I meant to do? I meant to make the history about, then we came, I'm going to go back. This allows me to go back. Good. Then we had this, and then we had in late 1990s, research started happening around loneliness. In 2010, the researcher Holt Lundstedt, her name's Julianne Holt Lundstedt, came out with a report on loneliness saying the world is having too many people that are lonely and it's affecting them. Her research colleagues called her researching fluff. In 2018, the World Health Organization announced that loneliness was a mental health issue, and then along came COVID-19. And we started using the term social distance. This is the first suggestion I have for you to help with this situation of loneliness. Do not use this term. The media uses it too much, and we are using it too much. We are adaptive human beings. We're resilient, and we can stay social. We need to stay social. It was Daniel Goldberg who wrote the book, Social Intelligence, that convinced the world that we are social beings, as well as we know in this center, we are spiritual beings. So please use the term physical distancing as Marjorie did. And the question is, who are the lonely? Here was a misconception from me. I thought the elderly, those people in the LGBTQ community, those people that tend to be different or shunned, the homeless, youth, the single parent moms, the widow, the single person. And it went on. Those people may or may not be lonely. It's a subjective experience. Where does loneliness turn up? Loneliness turns up when you or the people you care about, and I want you to also invite you to notice those people that may need you to reach out to them. They're drinking more, they're eating more, they're sleeping more, they're more irritable. They're experiencing anxiety attacks, and they're experiencing depression. As I said, way back in April and May, I wish I had known and been wise enough and had done the research then to say, are you feeling lonely? Because we were discussing the top dynamics that were happening above, and loneliness was underneath. We're hardwired for connection. Loneliness is a signal. It's going, hello, hello, I'm lonely. And the antidote is connection. And the first place is connection with self. Absolute connection with self. And with physical distancing, we're not getting the touching needs that we need right now. We're not having the skin, the largest organ in the body, touched, caressed. So what can we do? Well, we need to figure out how we can adapt. In what ways can we adapt? The research tells us that there are 3 aspects, 3 realms, 3 dimensions that are required for us to have a sense of connection. And the first is a confidant. A confidant is an entity, often a person, that I can pour my heart out, that I can have my head feels like it has a shoulder to rest on, that I'm safe, that I can be held in the presence of another. So confidant. It may be intimate, it may not be. The second is to have some close family and friends. And if you do not have a family that is in a good, healthy place, that you end up feeling wounded when you're in your family circle, then adopt people in your friend circle. And if you don't have friends, then reach out more. And people say, well, how? And we'll talk about that in a little bit. There are many ways to reach out, even though we are confined physically. We have a whole technology that has allowed us to reach out. And good on you for being here this morning. And you can connect with the people who are doing texts and leaving messages on the stream. Say hello to them. I'd like to get to know you better. And the third area is having a sense of community. Connected through values and purpose. And this center gives us so many opportunities to have a sense of purpose, to make a difference. So again, good on you for being a part of the Center for Spiritual Living here in Calgary or wherever you are in the world. And there is this quotation from the founder of this movement, Dr. Ernest Holmes. I have an inner friend who walks and talks with me daily, is within me, a constant companion. I shall never become lonely, for my friend is always near. The spirit within me is my friend. And I agree with this quotation, and I also have a belief that some moments we forget that we have a spiritual entity, a God that we can feel connected to, that helps us feel connected to ourselves. And so perhaps a few techniques, a few tools when we're in our space of being fragile and vulnerably human might be helpful. And in those moments that we remember to meditate and make connection with the divine, we are in our hearts not alone. So, last little point around connection to self is I would like to explore with you some ways to stimulate oxytocin. And this is some of these tools I was talking about. Oxytocin is actually that hormone that gets generated in big wads when mothers give birth to take away from that nasty pain of the ouch of giving birth. And oxytocin, though, can be stimulated in males and females. It needs to be stimulated. It's sometimes called the love hormone. It's definitely the connection hormone. And there's ways that we can stimulate it for ourselves, and we particularly need it right now with the restrictions of having physical connection with the people that we love. So I talked about the importance of physical connection. And when I'm on Zoom calls now, particularly with clients that I'm working with, and I'm able to identify they're feeling lonely, we end the call by crossing our arms like this. And I say, please give yourself a tight hug, as if I was there hugging you, and I want you to look at my eyes while you're doing it, and breathe in the sense of touch. And sometimes if that person needs a little comforting, we do what's called the butterfly hug. Back and forth and back and forth. It's like the rocking of a baby, right? Nature can help stimulate the hormone oxytocin. Pets can be very, very helpful. If you've got a pet at home, fantastic. We're looking into Les and I adopting a cat. He's a cat lover. We've missed cats for years. You can go, if you don't have a pet, you can go for a walk in the park. And if you see some friendly people and a friendly dog, don't risk yourself. Ask to have a pet and get some touching needs met. And I've just discovered something a few weeks ago, which is amazing. If you don't have a fluffy blanket, get yourself a fluffy stuffy, like my bunnykins. This stimulates animal fur, and will also help you stimulate oxytocin. When you have people that are allowed in your bubble, it doesn't matter whether it's one person or two people. When you have those people that are allowed in your bubble, ask for extra hugs. Take some time to sit down and make soft eye contact, eye to eye. Gentle just on the cheeks. You don't want to invade the spirit by piercing into eyes, but eye to eye. Hold a hand. Have the conversations and be either holding hands or a hand on the shoulder. We need to have that sense of connection any way that we can. There are 5 ways also that we can make connection I want to mention. Number 1 is writing letters. It's such an honor when we write letters. But it takes a skill, it takes a certain skill to put emotions into a letter. My one daughter, Kelly, does an amazing job of weaving in emotions, and emotions help us feel connected. So writing a letter's an honor. If you've got that skill, great. But then we've come along with emails and messenger and texts that allow us to put emoticons. Emoticons have become incredibly popular because we can express feelings. And the feelings also, when we express feelings and are vulnerable with one another, oxytocin is produced. This little sidebar, the reason this guy is enjoying music and it's related to oxytocin, music can also stimulate oxytocin. So the center providing our wonderful band is a huge gift to us. Okay, so where was I with the oxytocin? Can somebody yell out where I was? The seniors sometimes need to be reminded. I did a sidebar. My kids say, "Why are you still speaking, Mom, when your memory's so bad?" And I say, "Well, honey, if I can't think of what I was just talking about, I can always dig up something else that I was talking about." Right. Okay, so nobody else is remembering what I was just saying. So I'm going to go on to the... Oh, letters. Oh, yes, the many ways to communicate. That's very important. All right. Thank you. Somebody was listening. Whoa! All right. I feel really connected to you. Thank you for that. Yeah, connection is the antidote to loneliness. So, yeah, we covered letters. And then we were doing text. And by the way, youth are on the screen. So if you're a grandmother, parent, whatever, do use text and use lots of emoticons. One of my favorite is I love you to the moon and back. If you're not using Bitmoji, that's one of my favorite little use of emoticons. So then the next level of making connection comes through the phone, because we can hear the warmth in the voice. We can hear the warmth. We can pick up on emotions through the phone. So pick up the phone as well. Then the next level is amazing. I think about my mother and my father during the Second World War. 3 years they were separated. He was in Europe, she was in Canada, and she would maybe get a letter every other month if she was lucky, right? So now we have Zoom, we have meetups, we have all kinds of ways that we can see facial expressions, and we can see the person, we can see their surroundings, we can feel incredibly connected through this lens. I didn't think I could do counseling over this little tiny hole, but amazingly, people are comfortable and safe in their own environment. So I've found it very effective. And last but not least is face on face. So I'm back to when you have those people in your bubble that are with you, take the time to sit down and be present with them. And now I want to talk a little bit about reaching out to those that you imagine may be the lonely. And this is quotation, the foundation for connecting with other people is connecting with ourselves. Is from the previous American Surgeon General, Vivek Murthy, who just released a book this year, 2020, called Together. And he started to explore this whole idea about the importance of connection in an era of physical disconnection. So the foundation of connecting with other people is connecting with ourselves. So what does that mean? It means before you approach somebody else that you imagine is feeling lonely, and there's many ways that we can approach others to help them with their sense of loneliness, there are 3 aspects we want to check in with ourselves first. And the first is, do I feel worthy? Do I feel worthy and whole and complete? Am I going to the lonely to get something for me, to fill me up, or am I going with overflow? The second is, can I feel grounded and present? Can I be there with soft eyes and an open heart? And the third is, am I at peace with myself before I approach the other? There are many ways that we can let people know that we are thinking about them, whether it's leaving a phone message, whether it's just making a quick call, whether it's sending those written letters, whether it's doing the text, the emails, it doesn't matter. The research, back to Holstead again, research indicates that people feel less lonely when they know that somebody cares. You don't have to even do anything. You don't have to take a cake and muffins and a hamburger to the person you suspect is lonely. You don't need to do that. You just need to let them know that you are thinking about them. The mere thought, somebody cares about me, makes a huge difference. So I've spent the last few months immersed in this subject of loneliness, and I read a few books, and I went on the internet, and I ended up with pages and pages and pages, and has tried to figure out what were the key aspects of this subject around loneliness. And somehow, in the middle of all that, I ended up creating an ebook called Understanding Loneliness. I thought, well, if I have misunderstandings about this topic, perhaps other people do. This is my email address, and I will email you my little 26-page summary of the findings and what you can do for yourself and what you can do for other people. There's many, many more ideas in there than I've just shared with you here. So I just leave that for a moment if you want to write it down, or if you get lost, just Google Patricia Morgan Solutions for Resilience, and you will find my website and my email addresses on there. But it's patricia@solutionsforresilience.com. Hope you've got it. Or you can rewind. I think you can rewind. Can you rewind? Yeah, fantastic. Okay, then we don't need to hesitate. There we go. So in conclusion, first, look after your own sense of loneliness if it comes up. Do some of those activities, or meditating, or being with self, touching with self, all the little tips that I've provided for you. But in the end, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. We want to look after both our humanness and our spiritual well-being. And in the end, please be the connection that you want to receive.
I'd like to invite the band up onto the stage to give us another one of their beautiful performances. And I want to thank you, Patricia. That was really lovely. I knew you would be a breath of fresh air swooping into the center this morning. I feel affirmed that it's okay to recognize what's going on and to be aware when I am feeling lonely. And I feel like I really got a lot of good ideas this morning on how to rock some more oxytocin in my life. So thank you so much. It was a beautiful message, and I appreciate that you were here for all of us this morning. And it's time for the band to create a little oxytocin out there, people. So be prepared for an onset of oxytocin as you hear this incredible band.
It's time for us to roxytocin.
Feel that.
If you're feeling all alone, maybe lost or just confused, put your hands up. If you're dealing with a broken heart and you're not sure what to do, put your hands up. If you lost someone you care about somewhere along the road, put your hand up. So you know you're not alone, put your hand up. Come on and put your hand up. No matter the road, no matter how hard, put your hands up. Put your hands up. Wherever you go, it's never too far to put your hands up. Put your hands up. What you waiting? What you waiting? Oh, what you waiting for? Wherever you are, put your hands up. Whoa, whoa, whoa. If you feel you're in a corner and your back's against the wall, put your hand up.
Yeah.
If you've fallen into harder times and you've got no one to call, put your hand up. If you're on the verge of giving up and you're all but out of hope, put your hand up. So you know you're not alone, put your hand up. Go on and put your hand up. Whatever the road, no matter how hard, put your hands up. Put your hands up. Don't ever let go. You're never too far to put your hands up. Put your hands up. What you waiting? What you waiting for? What you waiting for? Wherever you are, put your hands up. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Put your hands up. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Put your hands up.
Ooh, put your hands up. Woo, oxytocin refueling. Thank you so much. Oliver, Amy, Luis, Lisa, Stephanie, thank you so much. And now we come to those important moments in the service when we use our prosperity to fuel this center, which is doing its great work in the world. So we know that life is richer by means of each of us. And so as we share our wealth, we know that it returns to us multiplied and overflowing. Yesterday, I ran around and delivered gingerbread house kits to some of my family. Spent most of the day doing that. And at the end of the day, I felt richer myself, just happier that I could give a little bit. So please feel free to come from a place of abundance as you support the things in your life that enrich you, including the center. And the ways you can do that are all on the slide here, so you can e-transfer. You can use the website, go to the website and log in there. You can send a check to 4411 Manitoba Road to the center here. You can call the office, and that will be facilitated for you. Or you can join, and that's my personal choice, as I join the Conscious Commitment Program, so I don't have to worry about it. It's just done. I sign up for what I believe is the contribution I want to make, and it just happens easily. So any and all of those would be helpful ways for you to contribute to the center. So let us do the conscious giving affirmation as we remember that we are the abundance. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow. And all that I give returns to me, multiplied abundantly. I am so blessed, and so it is. And let us sing love today, Amy? Yeah.
L-O-V-E.
L-O-V-E. This feeling of love in our hearts, with this appreciation for this incredible center, for the music, for the lovely message this morning, for our willingness to suit up, to show up, to make a difference, we give thanks. And as we do this, let's do our final blessing as we leave today. So we're going to do the generation of energy here. We're rubbing our hands together, generating all that energy. I don't know how Pat does this. Oh, she has a lavalier mic. That's the problem. Okay. So we're generating energy, and on the count of 3, we're going to send that energy out, knowing that it blesses the lives of all it touches. 1, 2, 3. Whoo. Have a blessed day and a blessed week, everyone. Bye.
1, 2, 3, 4. All the good that the world needs, but the world
Point. 1, 2, 3. Huh? Ba, 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 ba.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you, Patricia.
Can't wait to party with y'all. Like for real.
Yeah.
This is getting lame.
Lame.